A few moments later.
We are the ones who don't know what we're fighting for. Give us a gun and send us all off to war. We are the ones who grow up in violent homes. We are the ones who don't know what's right or wrong. I know. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No more. We are the ones who don't know why we're losing score. Give them a badge so they can send us to the morgue. We are the ones who are scared to walk out the door. We are the ones who don't know what we're dying for. I know. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck now. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. Get off his fucking neck. The man makes you know. He can't fucking breathe. The man makes you know. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck now. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more.
Warning: this podcast features adult subject matter, adult language, and things not meant for children to hear. Viewer discretion is advised. You've been warned. If it's Thursday, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages, to the latest episode of the I'm No Joe podcast, the show where every armchair quarterback can feel like Eddie Bravo. I, of course, am your hostess with the mostest. The meter does many things, and with me, as is more often than not the case, my right-hand man, Flintlock, here. Slowbake should be here in just a little bit. He is on his way home from work right now. Golf T will not be with us this evening. Golf T has got life in him real hard right now, so we're just keeping him in our thoughts. But we are going to go ahead and get into all of the shit talking and shenanigans, the fight announcements and fuckery that has trickled out the MMA pipeline since we saw you wonderful folks last week. But before we get into all that, first and foremost, how you doing over there, brother?
Number card. I'm just really happy there's some fights on this weekend, bro.
Right. Yeah, this is definitely, it's kind of ironic. It's a big UFC numbered event weekend, but there are really only like one other card going on tomorrow afternoon and then nothing else this weekend. And it's like every weekend for the last couple of weeks building up to this, there's been 9,000 fucking things and a mediocre UFC card in the middle of it all. And then this weekend we got the one big UFC card and then almost nothing else. So gonna be weird. We will see how that plays out because all eyes will most definitely be on Philadelphia this weekend for damn sure. That being said, we are going to jump right in here and kick things off the way that we like to, talking about all the news and recent events, official fight confirmations, pullouts, official rumor confirmations and denials, things of that nature relevant in the combat sports world we feel you find folks need to know about. Um, this week, we don't have to go too far back. We do need to touch a little bit back on last weekend just because the ridiculousness of last weekend happened on Friday after we were already off the air. Um, so we talked about it a little bit the week prior leading into that one about Patchy Mix making his way over to Ryzen with PFL basically in the process of crumbling and imploding on itself, whatever you want to call the designation of the merger with Jake Paul and those fucking kids. Uh, but Patchy's been having a rough go of things to say the least. And then he showed up for his fight last weekend, 6.5 pounds overweight. So in Ryzen, that doesn't disqualify the fight like it would in the vast majority of the world. Somehow their commission would still let that fight go, but because the way that they've got the rule set in Ryzen, it meant an automatic 2 point deduction for Patchy Mix. So best case scenario would be if he got a first round finish, and then it would technically still be ruled as a draw because he would be down the 2 points from missing weight. Um, Patchy did not, in fact, get a first round finish. He got a very slow, very sluggish, and in a lot of people's opinions, gifted decision win, which with the 2 point deduction for missing weight turns that into an actual decision loss. Um, Aside from the weirdness of seeing Patchy weigh in almost 7 fucking pounds overweight for a guy who generally doesn't have weight issues. And then just putting on the most sluggish looking, I don't want to fucking be here performance he's done in a hot minute now. And then add on top of that, uh, the fact that it has created a mini cacophony of beehive activity in the combat sports world because the vast majority of folks who follow combat sports also either follow or interact with Tapology in some way. And Tapology has said publicly that despite them understanding and acknowledging the rule set that Ryzen uses, they will not display that information on Tapology. They will put the result of the fight, not the result of the point deduction. And apparently they've done that every time up until Patchy Mix misses weight by 7 fucking pounds and wins the decision in the match, but due to the 2 point deduction for the weight miss, actually gets a decision loss, officially speaking. So Tapology, for the first time in the site's history, had to put a little addendum underneath the fight bracket for Patchy Mix, stating that while the fight was determined a decision win for Mix, ultimately the decision officially goes down as a loss due to 2 points being deducted for Mix missing weight. So this is one, I don't know what the fuck happened. Let me say that. I don't know what the fuck happened in camp with Patchy. I don't know why the fuck he missed weight. He hasn't said why he missed weight. But most fighters who have had an issue here or there on the scale generally tend to try and use that as an example of who they are now, not who they were when that shit happened. And this is one that Patchy Mix will never be able to get away from because regardless of how his career goes forward, there will always be that Tapology asterisk now tied to it because his fight was the first one that the site actually caved and showed the difference in result because of a weight miss on Patchy. So it's not the first time that someone has missed weight and had points deducted in Ryzen, but it is the first time Tapology actually caved to their own rules and posted that as an actual result. So I don't know if that is a sign of Tapology going forward. I would sure fucking hope so because I get that they don't like that Ryzen takes 2 points for weight instead of calling the fight, but it's also not their fucking organization. So you can bitch about someone else's rule set all you want. You don't get to change it unless you get a voice in that fucking conversation. So it's interesting to see how Tapology is going to play this one out going further, but it was a weird set of circumstances that led to it. That being said, just confirmed this afternoon, maybe one of the fastest turnaround tenures in UFC history, in my opinion. Jesse Rosas has officially been released from the UFC. The brother of Raul Rosas Jr. was signed and supposed to make his debut 2 weeks ago back on UFC Vegas 120 and pulled out of the fight the day before the event, just before he had to actually weigh in. Well, the UFC has decided they are no longer in need of Mr. Rosas' services, and he has officially been released. Which I will say I didn't know because I don't give a fuck about the Rosas family, but I did learn this afternoon in finding out that Jesse had been cut that this was not even the first time that he had pulled this fucking maneuver, that he did the same thing back in December when he was originally supposed to fight for the Fury FC championship. He pulled out moments, literally minutes before the fight was supposed to happen. He pulled out and left the fucking building as he was supposed to main event for a title. So, how it went from that to him getting signed to the UFC to begin with is very questionable to say the least. But safe to say, he's probably not one of those fighters who can make his way back up through the local circuit and get another call from the matchmakers to try and give it another run. Seeing as how this isn't even the first time he has done this, and he did it to the UFC. You have all seen, if you watch combat sports for any amount of time, how long Dana White holds a grudge. Ask Armin Sarukian when his next fucking title shot's going to be, because he's still fucking waiting. He still wasn't going to get it, even with the announcement for 331 where he was going to fight Charles for the BMF belt, because he still wasn't getting an actual shot at the actual belt. That's how long Dana White's still holding the fucking grudge. But, you know, we'll see. Uh, at this point, one Rosas brother is more than enough in the UFC. We really didn't need to, so luckily now we won't have to. That being said, we do have a couple of things to touch on real quick for this weekend. The first one, Jose Ochoa is officially out of his fight against Charles Johnson on 3 days' notice. Eduardo Chapolin is officially stepping in to take his place. Uh, Short notice fights don't always guarantee that they'll be more exciting, but it is a situation where both fighters are now taking a short notice fight. The people who stepped up and the people who stayed on the card both have a completely new fight in a matter of days from when it was supposed to happen. So, tip of my cap to both of those gents. Hopefully, it turns out to be a good fight. The other one on the other side of UFC 330 here is that we have now had 3 different interviews this week where Edson Barboza has said that UFC 330 could very well be his last fight. He hasn't officially declared it will be his retirement fight, but he has acknowledged that he doesn't have much longer left in the sport one way or another. And depending on how the outcome plays out Saturday, it very well might be his last match. Um, Hearing fighters say that, it kind of leads you to believe that if he gets a big win on Saturday, he's probably not going to hang him up. But if he gets laid out on Saturday, he will most likely lay his gloves down in Philadelphia, and we will probably not see him again. Understandably, Edson Barboza has now been in the UFC for I think 17 years and running, and is still in the top of the fucking division here, where most of the people that he entered the UFC with, his class of fighters have almost all gone the way of the fucking retirement, walk. So the fact that he's still here and debating whether he wants to hang him up or keep going says something unto itself. But I very much feel like his performance on Saturday will be the ultimate dictator of that decision here. I feel like if he gets a big one, he might convince himself that he can still hang around and at least do 1 or 2 more. But if it goes bad, I think we probably see him lay the gloves down. So we'll see how that one plays out. Um, that being said, 2 weeks from now, August 29th, the Dual Arena TV card, Mike Perry versus Dylan Dennis to main event. We've now been given the official price of that pay-per-view only event, and it will be $29.99, but it's not going through the traditional pay-per-view routes. You have to go to the Dual Arena website to buy and then watch. So websites hosting giant server traffic like that generally don't work out well. Even the big corporate companies uh, have issues, as anybody who's got a Paramount Plus subscription has seen the last couple weeks, as anybody who watched any of the fights during the ESPN Plus era will be well versed in. So,
If I can add something to that,
yeah,
if Netflix can't handle the Tyson Jake Paul fight, what makes you think your thing's going to be able to handle? I'm just saying. I'm just
right.
saying.
I agree. I agree. Shit, Paramount Plus was tripping over its own dick during Connor versus fucking Max in all 36 seconds of that fucking fight. So I don't know how this brand new fucking, website server setup is expected to be able to pull the traffic that they're trying to hope that they're going to get, but we will definitely see how that one plays out for sure. Um I don't know how or why, but they managed to get it done, and it was officially confirmed yesterday afternoon. Tommy McMillan called for a shot on that UFC Noche card, and they have decided to give it to him. He will be taking on Marwan Rahiki on UFC Noche 3 down in Arizona in September. So they're clearly not trying to rocket ship him to the moon. They're letting him can his way up so far. Seeing how much he struggled with the last one, I kind of hoped they were going to actually give him somebody with a little bit more credibility and actually test him, but it seems like they're going to let him clown his way through and fake it till he can make it at this point. So we will see how that plays out. That UFC Noche card is, there's some interesting ones on there. I'm not going to say it's stacked, but there's some interesting matchups getting announced for UFC Noche. So we'll see how that comes as we get a little closer to it here. We got a double announcement yesterday from the UFC. The official announcement and confirmation that UFC 332, now that we're literally 1.5 day away from UFC 330, UFC 332, the next numbered event, which you would assume would be in 2 months from now, is going to take place October 3rd in Salt Lake City, Utah. And then, without giving a date for it, then went ahead and announced that UFC 330 will be taking place in Yas Island in Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi. So it has been a fucking hot minute since they actually did a pay-per-view over in Abu Dhabi. They generally only get fight nights throughout the year. We'll see how that one plays out there and when they actually announce the never mind. I'm looking at the wrong line. Sorry. Abu Dhabi will be October 24th. So it will be another one of those months where we get two numbered events in a month, which means we're probably going to get lots of Apex cards both before and after that one to balance out the end of the year here. Yay, joy, happy times. We got the official announcement straight from the horse's mouth. Court McGee will be holding his retirement fight at UFC 332 in Salt Lake City. Does not have an opponent yet, but the UFC has guaranteed him a roster spot on that Utah card so that he can officially retire in Utah. Nice of the UFC. Would have been nicer for them to get him a fucking opponent before they officially confirmed all that shit, but UFC is going to UFC, as we see them do quite often. Officially changing weights and fighting closer to what he walks around at, which we always love to hear about here on the show. GM3 Gerald Mearshart has officially announced his move from middleweight up to light heavyweight, and they have given in his debut date. It will be October 10th, UFC Vegas 122, and he will be taking none other than Julius Juicebox Walker in his debut to light heavyweight here. Always rooting for Juicebox, but this is definitely a must-win fight for both of those gentlemen. So pretty good matchmaking because both of those guys are going to be hungry for a win for damn sure. Juicebox looking to prove a point. GM3 looking for life in a new division here. Good matchmaking, in my opinion. Last one I have got here this week. We watched it last weekend. It didn't quite play out as planned, but it is now official and confirmed. We saw Darren the Damage Elkins officially retire last weekend despite a crazy quick loss in his retirement fight. He has said very plainly, I feel very lucky. I had a hell of a run. There was a lot of fun in my career, but I am not coming back. I am officially done. He retires at the age of 42 with a professional record of 29 wins, 13 losses, over 40 career fights as a professional, and 0 weight misses. Not one fucking time as a professional fighter for 2 fucking decades. Multiple organizations. Never once did Darren Elkins step on the scale and miss fucking weight. That's the definition of someone who takes their fucking job seriously. And as a fan, you can't help but fucking appreciate and respect the fuck out of Darren Elkins for that and his amazing fucking fight career. If you are new to combat sports and you are not familiar with Darren Elkins, do yourself a favor. Once we are done here, go over to your YouTube search bar and just type in Darren Damage Elkins and let the algorithm do the work for you. Anything you click on will give you a good example of what that man's entire nearly 2-decade career as a professional embodied, because every time that man stepped in the cage, it was fucking chaos and carnage. Every fucking time, win or loss, didn't fucking matter. So absolute tip of the cap to Darren Elkins. We say it every fucking time, and I will continue to say it every time. I would always rather see the fighter make the decision to hang the gloves up while they are still able to tie their own shoes and sign their own name legibly than the alternative. I would always root in favor of a fighter making the decision to retire rather than having that decision made for them. So I have no doubt Darren Elkins will absolutely be just fine once he is done in the cage. That man has got more than a few opportunities. He's got rental properties. He's got businesses. I believe he's in the process of opening a gym if he hasn't opened it yet. So that man will be just fine and understands that he rode this out a lot longer than most people get to, and he's not trying to come back just for some fucking notoriety. He did his time. He's gone off into the sunset. So they don't make them like Darren Damage Elkins anymore. Last of a dying breed, to say the fucking least. So we are absolutely going to miss Darren Elkins here on the show because that motherfucker, we say it all the time, was allergic to boring fights. He breaks out in fucking punches, and it's never ending with that man. So that being said, oh, look at this fucking kid popping in here sideways. There's trouble. How's it going over there, brother?
You wish you could be better, but I'm fucking here.
Did we lose him or did he stop talking?
I remuted myself again. I don't know if you can
Okay.
hear me or not. I'm
Okay.
roaming, man.
Oh, gotcha. I was like, shit, did we lose him already? All right. So, that being said, that will bring us to the point where we aren't currently doing our show and fan favorite segment at the moment, but not for lack of want, but for lack of the required components. And that segment we like to call Casual Corner, where we bring in somebody who just doesn't know shit about fights and we ask them about fights on a completely superficial basis. And it's always fun. Well, the problem is, sometimes they stick around and they casual for a while. And once you casual for so long, you just inevitably grow out of the casual phase because you start to learn a little bit about a little bit and you realize that fighting's kind of fucking fun. And then you start learning more and more and more. And next thing you know, you're out of the casual seat and you are starting to actually dive into the combat sports world and learn your way through it. And that is the position that we have found ourselves in here. Our buddy Flintlock started as one of our favorites in Casual Corner, and he's been watching fights with us long enough, seen enough of them now. He's starting to fucking learn, so we had to move him out of the Casual Corner and give him his own segment because he's learning his way through the combat sports world and helping you guys do the same in a segment that we are calling The Next Move.
Thank you. Thank you. So, today, ladies and gentlemen, we will be discussing one of the most, I don't know if this is actually possible, overly used and underused moves at the same time. And that would be the simple knee. One of the most devastating things you can do to somebody is hit them with your knee. Now, is it the right thing to do all the time? No. Can it knock somebody out? Yeah. And can that flashy move skyrocket you into popularity? Yeah. But not if you're throwing it from 5 feet away. If you're just showing us your acrobatics in the middle of the fucking octagon, throwing a flying knee, what you want me to see that you can jump 3.5 feet in the air? The guy's seen you doing it from four miles away. Okay, you're 6'4" and you've got, 5.5 foot long legs. I can see you got long legs, bro. So can he, because he's standing on the other side of the ring. One of the most overused things is when I say overused, the flying knee. I understand everybody wants to be popular. I understand everybody wants that flashy knockout. And when it lands, when it is used properly, the flying knee can be a thing of beauty. But when it is thrown like somebody is spamming the fucking button on a PlayStation controller, it turns into a fucking clown show. Now, some of the things that I love to see is one of the ladies or one of the guys in the clinch, and you got somebody's ribs exposed. Ooh, a knee right to the ribs. Holy shit! I don't care who you are. That shit hurts. To the quads, to the back, anywhere. I've seen people get kneed in the top of the shoulder, and I'm surprised their collarbone is still attached. You're getting pushed up against the fucking fence, and some guy's nailing you with his knee just right in your hip. Tell me how easy it is to walk. You see in the GIF that Mr. Meter has so graciously applied, it can stop fights. That wasn't even a flying knee. That was a knee to the body. He crumpled him. It can be used as a defensive maneuver to get people off of you. I'm not even talking about just the knee as an offensive weapon. People forget that you can use your whole body while you're in that cage. I see people just not trying to push people off top of each other. What? Shrimp up. What are you doing? Use your legs. Push him off you. Get your feet into his hips and push. Anyways, it can be used for a numerous amount of techniques, defensive, offensive, submissions. You can bend that son of a bitch I don't know how many different ways. All this to be said is that the knee is kind of like the elbow. It's literally the elbow of the legs. It can be overused and underused at the same time because there's times where a good knee would end a fight and the guy's just sitting there throwing punches 2 feet away from each other and it's not working because the guy's blocking everything. Why don't you throw a kick or a knee to the body, to the gut when nobody's expecting it? It could be used to feint. You could use that to set up your hook. You get somebody biting on knees and kicks. You see, no, don't kick me. Yeah, throw your hook. I've I've watched a lot of fights now, and I gotta say that Muay Thai fights, again, they take it. They use their knees just like they use the elbow, like knives, like weapons, and they will fuck somebody up. And it's a thing of beauty. I think everybody needs to take a class, a note, a page from their book. Let's implement this. You could devastate somebody if used properly. If used improperly, you look like a jackass. Okay, so you took ballet in the third grade. Okay, that's cool, bro. I'm not here to judge, but like, let's not do kick splits in the middle of the ring, middle of the octagon. All right, that's all I got this week.
Thank you, sir. Very much appreciated. Absolutely agree. We were talking about this last weekend when we watched a dude flying knee at nothing and fly across the fucking cage or across the ring while the other guy that he was fighting against literally just stepped backwards and watched him sail past, was in absolutely zero fucking danger, was 100% doing it for fucking show, looked like an idiot, got his ass kicked shortly after the flying knee to nothing. So I absolutely agree. The Muay Thai style knees where they either implement the clinch or when they've got you around with a body lock already and bring it up. One of the most underutilized strikes in the combat sports world, and one of the most effective on the other side of that when they're used properly. Those things are fucking devastating.
And I might be on the fanboy hype train, whatever you want to call it. But watch Rod Tang use his knees.
Yeah.
Watch those pistons go off.
He don't fire them at nothing, and he don't fire them for no reason. And when he lets a fucking knee go, he could change your digestive cycle. Yeah, Rod Tang, fucking Superlek, Jesus tits. Hell, even fucking Black Panther nowadays is becoming a fucking nasty knee striker as well. No, there's quite a few strikers over in the One Championship organization. If you're looking for proper knees, one championship does it pretty damn good. That being said, though, that'll bring us to the point in the show where if you've been watching combat sports as long as some of us have been watching combat sports, you start to learn what you like to watch, when it comes on, and how to watch it. And you start to develop your habits and your blinders, if you will, and you start to inevitably lose the forest for the trees. Luckily for us here on the show, though, we've got ourselves a young person out there doing the delicate and diligent work of fingering the pulse of the MMA world and helping to keep us abreast of all the names that are going to be names before they are names in a little segment called Slows, Cans, and Contenders.
Appreciate you, brother. I know my connection's been shit, so hopefully you boys can hear me. I'll make it short and sweet, so hopefully we can get to the fucking pit. Cans for this week, I tried to look at it a little bit. It's just like the past month. I can give zero fucks about the fights this week, honestly, especially with this main event. Probably throw the whole thing in the trash like a TJ, in all honesty. But the main names that I got to throw in the fucking garbage: Eric McConico, motherfucker shouldn't even be in the UFC. Dustin Stoltzfus shouldn't even be in the UFC. And then a weird ass fight between Vicente Luque and Trayshawn Gore. Like, what the fuck is that? It's just one of those fucking fights. It's just like, what the fuck are we doing here? Vicente should have already retired. Trayshawn Gore hasn't done a single fucking thing to be pushed anywhere near top 15. Oh, yeah, let's give him a gatekeeper and fucking bump him up there. It's just absolute horseshit. Don't know what the fuck's going on, especially with those matchmakers. Why are we trying to push the absolute trash that you still have on the fucking roster. And so some of the young kids that actually are worth a damn. Yeah, I don't know. Very fucked up. But do have some contenders, I guess. I'm interested in the Ribovics and Barboza fight. Edson's always fucking brought it. That's one of those situations where it's a kid getting a gatekeeper. It makes a little bit more sense, but it's on the fence because Ribovics has been on the fence since he got in the UFC. Kid's had a couple of exciting moments, but hasn't been solid at all. Has had a couple of rough losses. So the fight could be a banger, could be exciting, could also be one of those that's like, what the fuck was this? And it doesn't make sense again. Then you got the main event. Like, I guess it could be entertaining to a point if Islam Makhachev goes out there and knocks Ian Gary's bitch ass out. Anything else, I don't fucking care. I'm tired of seeing grappling fights. It's the worst thing in the world to pit a grappler against a grappler. At least with a striker, we'd have a chance to see something fun happen. Neither one of them are a striker. Ian Gary's only fucking knockout and only finish his whole UFC careers against Kanan Song, who was almost 40 fucking years old, which, mind you, in the beginning of that fight, clipped Ian Gary and almost fucking won. So I don't forget shit. I keep receipts. That's a true hardcore MMA fan. I remember shit even if it's 5 years ago. Now, this motherfucker doesn't deserve no title shot. This shit's absolutely disgusting as fuck. Ain't nowhere near Conor McGregor. Dude's literally a fucking cuck. Literally, his personal chef is his wife's ex, and he lives with the motherfucker. Just can't stand any one piece of this fight. Makes the whole card shit when you got two title fights that don't mean jack shit. I mean, the only thing I can be a little bit is Jillian. Her getting her shot is badass, but it's already a guaranteed mine. That should be because Mackenzie is fucking garbage. It's gonna be a hogwash, as you will. Jillian's gonna beat her ass or sub her real quick, and it's just gonna be nice and easy. So the end of the night, you're just kind of like lackluster fights, lackluster championships, and that's how it's been for the past couple of years. Just really kicking the nuts every week to see a fucking fight card and be like, oh yeah, okay, 3 fights to get excited for. Great. The only other good shit I can kind of talk about, there is, I think, the one fucking fight I was really excited about. Let me grab my fucking note back out of my pocket. Oh, I just wanted to talk up Charles Johnson. There's no good fight I'm excited about. I just like my Missouri boys, and he's fighting Jose Ochoa, so he gets that fucking win.
Jose
That's
Ochoa
at
pulled
least an
out yesterday.
exciting young name.
Ochoa pulled out yesterday. I covered that in the news earlier. They
Oh,
just confirmed it today. Ochoa pulled out. Eduardo Chapelin is officially stepping in, getting short notice debut against Charles Johnson. So yeah, no, everybody's
all right,
excited about the
Charles
Charles Johnson
Johnson.
fight now.
Scratch all that then. And the love my Missouri boys with Charles Johnson's fight means jack shit now, and just like most of this card. Because, yeah, fighting a newcomer on short notice, you can knock him the fuck out in 2 seconds. It doesn't do shit for you. Doesn't build you up at all. Doesn't fucking give you a better fight in the next one. That's rough. The Jose Ochoa knocking a kid like that out, it's got some excitement, knockout power. That would have done something. Because then maybe the UFC would give you another crack at the top 15, but kind of rough, kind of rough. Other than that, I don't think I had anything else. Oh, I guess the Joel Alvarez fight. Joel Alvarez probably the only other true contender that I could see on this fucking whole card other than Jillian Alvarez or Jillian Robertson. Joel Alvarez all around fucking fire. You got the fucking submission game, knockout power. Excited to see him get some true tough matchups. Yeah, I think this one's going to be easy for him. That's really all I got.
Thanks, sir. Much appreciated. Yeah, since TJ's not here, I will take the reins for him and go ahead and confirm that this is the weakest fucking numbered / pay-per-view card we have seen in 2026 so far. In a year that has not been filled with bangers for pay-per-view / numbered cards to begin with, this is absolutely the fucking weakest one of the year. There's still a couple of interesting matchups on the card, but the vast majority of this card, top to bottom, does not belong on a pay-per-view / numbered card buildup. Unpopular opinion, I'm not excited about either one, the main or the co-main event. Neither of the title fights get me excited. I don't believe that anyone involved in either one of those fights should be a title contender or a title holder. And the fact that that's what's main eventing UFC 330 just makes me shake my fucking head all over the place. Um, Ironically enough, the Joel Alvarez and Chidi Njokuani and the Charles Johnson and Eduardo Chapelin fights are the two that I am the most excited about on this entire fucking card, because they are the two short notice replacements in both situations here. Chidi was booked. His fight dropped off and got replaced last week. We talked about that on the show last Thursday. And then this week, Charles Johnson's fight got dropped out because Jose Ochoa just dropped out a couple of days ago, and he's got Eduardo Chapelin on short notice. Short notice fights, especially this close to the event, are short notice for everyone involved. So whatever game plan you had goes out the goddamn window. You've got a different opponent in both situations here, completely different fucking styles. So all of your prep, with the exception of your cardio, is fucking worthless at this point. The only thing you can count on is what you've been training that you do, not what you were going to do against that opponent. So I'm definitely keyed in on both of these short notice fights. Hats off to all four of those gentlemen involved. I absolutely fucking agree. Vicente Luque should have been taken out to pasture and shot in the back of the fucking head 5 years ago. Trayshawn Gore should have never gotten a fucking UFC contract to begin with. And he has proven that that was a stupid decision every fucking time he has stepped into the goddamn cage without fucking fail. Even his wins are fucking cringeworthy and embarrassing to fucking watch more often than not. They have filled these fucking prelims and early prelims with fights that would be boring on a fucking Apex card. This is supposed to be what would have been a pay-per-view. This is a numbered event. This is supposed to be the card that means something, that people can tune into and get excited about your fucking company and get excited about your sport. And more than half of this fucking card is filled with people who don't have a fucking ranking next to their name that only the hardcores are going to know about. There is zero fucking casual appeal or new fan draw on what should be and would have been a fucking pay-per-view card. Had Paramount not gotten this deal, even with ESPN, this would have been a card you'd have had to pay $90 fucking dollars to be able to watch a bunch of unranked fighters taking on unranked fighters. This isn't even a situation where we've got a bunch of Philly boys on the card. I think they've only got 3 people from the Philadelphia area on a whole fucking card with, what do we have, 15 fights on this one? 13, they're saying. 13 fights, 26 fucking fighters. 3 of them have any tie to the fucking area that they're going to. We get better than that every single time they take the fucking UFC overseas to anywhere. So the UFC isn't putting their usual press behind this. They're not putting the usual local ties into this big fucking numbered event to try and get the hometown crowd in. They're not sticking big fights on the fucking card. Aside from the fact that there's a title in the main and the co-main event, none of the other fights really matter outside of Edson Barboza versus Esteban Ribovic, and even that only matters because Edson Barboza has said 3 times this week that it very well could be his last fight ever. So none of these fights are impactful on the division. 2 of them are fucking short notice replacements. 2 of them are guys who are on their fucking way out or literally with a foot in the fucking door. The only real genuine fight that holds any meaning in the division outside of the main and the co-main event is the fucking fight that's opening the goddamn card, Jeremiah Wells versus Miktabek Oralbai, because both of those guys are fighting to get into the top 15 of the fucking welterweight division. Outside of that, there's not even a fucking ranking on this card to be had. The closest that we have got is Jylan Turner, who's fighting to be ranked 15, literally, in the fucking lightweight division. Pay-per-view cards, numbered events, whatever the fuck you want to call them now, used to be and are supposed to be the things to draw in new fans. The reason those cards used to be paid for is because every fight or the majority of the fights on that event are worth paying to see. It's not something that you could just sit back and catch with a fucking Paramount Plus subscription live from the fucking fancy newly painted Apex. These are supposed to be impactful and meaningful fights. And we're once again at a point in 2026, now halfway through the year, where we've had to wait 6 fucking weeks for this goddamn event with fight night after fight night after fight night after fight night. And then the fucking numbered event sucks dick for pocket change. I'm not even trying to pretend this is a great fucking event. If this was an actual pay-per-view, this would be the part where we tell you, go to Buffalo Wild Wings, get 7 buddies together who are all going to bring a 6-pack and chip in on the fucking pay-per-view. Don't fucking buy this outright bullshit. If you don't already have Paramount Plus, do not fucking subscribe to that dog shit just for this fucking card. If there were a way to publish Uncle Khabib's wink, wink, nod, nod methods to watch this without giving Paramount your fucking Nielsen ratings, I would happily share that with you. All I can tell you is Google is your friend and make sure you have a good ad block and spyware preventer. So that being said, there is just not a lot to be excited about on this card, top to bottom. I will say it's good to see Jalen Turner seeming to be determined to be back now, when he was just ready to walk away from the whole game just a couple of years ago. But even then, he's been out of the rotation long enough to where the casuals aren't really going to know who he is. The fact that he's in the People's Co-Main event, yes, it gives him an opportunity, but he's still got to take advantage of that opportunity and do something with it to get himself back established into those rankings that he's trying to fight into. Stolfus shouldn't be in the fucking UFC. Chris nailed it right on the fucking head with that. Like, what the fuck are we really doing? Trayshawn Gore shouldn't be in the fucking UFC, shouldn't be in a position to be fighting old man Vicente Luque at this point. And the fact that we're having to say old man Vicente Luque to a fucking 36-year-old man is ridiculous unto its fucking self. But, you know, here we are with the UFC in real fucking hard. So that being said, that is about all we have got for the individual fights here. And with that said, normally Golf T would be here to handle this part, but unfortunately life is kicking him right in the life parts this week, so I'm going to go ahead and handle it. So this part actually does require its own individual disclaimer on the show, so if you will. Tapology.com in no way, shape, or form supports, sponsors, or endorses the I'm No Joe podcast. Yet. That being said, Tapology does give you the ability to go onto their website, create a free account, and make fantasy-style MMA picks like we do here on the show. They even let you make groups on there, so we made one. It's called I'm No Bookie, all one word, or Group 965, whichever way is easiest for you to find. The group is open to the public. You are welcome and encouraged. Make yourself an account, join the group, and then let us know who you are, and we will hold your picks accountable with our picks and a little segment that's normally handled by TJ, but tonight is Numbers with Meter. So, that being said, it is a shame that Golf T is not here with us this evening, because this weekend coming up is the final event of the Summer Shenanigans tournament here on the I'm No Joe podcast. Due to Tapology constantly, like the rest of us, waiting for UFC to actually fucking announce dates anymore, which they don't do unless they're a couple weeks out. This tournament got made with a big fucking block of fight nights in the middle instead of being taken advantage of. So we had to wait till we get to 3:30 here to finish this goddamn tournament. Now, that being said, for those of you who don't remember, Chris is basically sitting atop the stack giving us all the finger right now with 5,215 fucking points, 77 of 114 correct. The closest to him at this point is Donna in second place with 75 correct, but only 4,765 points. He literally has almost a 500-point head start on his next closest competition. So unless he trips on his way home here in just a minute and bangs his fucking head against a curb somehow, he is all but guaranteed to lock up this fucking tournament. Even if he just closes his eyes and throws fucking darts to make his picks, he's still got enough of a fucking little brother hand on the forehead fucking head start to all the rest of us right now. He's pretty much got this one locked up. That being said, the real battle in this tournament to finish things out is for the middle here, because Donna's got 47.65 to his 52.15. That's pretty much an unwinnable fucking battle. But then if you look on the other side of Donna here, we have got Don with 71 correct for 44.90. Vinny just behind him with 69, very nice, correct, for 4,400, even just 90 points away. Right below him, we have got Flintlock with 70 correct, but 43.70 on the point side, just 30 points behind Vinny. Right behind him, myself, also with 70 correct for 43.20, just 50 points back from them. And then we've got our tail section here, our Oops, I Forgot a Week card. Both Golf Tee and one of Don's accounts missed a week in the middle of this tournament here. So they are 65 and 61 respectively, but only 36.45 and 41.15 in terms of points. Those two are basically fighting out for last place over who missed a week to hold down and anchor that trip over the dick spot, because every week, like it or not, somebody's going to trip over something, whether it's your curtains, it's your hanger, whatever it is. If it gets in the way and you step on it, we're going to call you out for it here, because we believe in equality around here. That being said, this is the final weekend of the Summer Shenanigans Tour. We're going to take at least a week off because my brain needs to focus and punch Tapology a couple times right in the fucking server and make sure they've got some dates locked in. And then we will have our fall tournament kicking off here in just a couple of weeks. So if that is something you are interested in, you, the fan that I'm talking to, that I'm pointing directly at, you can get in on our next Tapology tournament. All you have to do, obviously, make yourself an account over on Tapology and then let one of us know who the fuck you are, and we will make sure you get an invite when our fall tournament kicks off. But that is the Tapology that we have got for this week. That being said, I am not using Caesars because I don't like Caesars. I am this week going to take advantage of the DraftKings Sportsbook, not because I like them or because I have any affiliation with them, but because they are the easiest ones for me to find readable fucking odds on. So we have some interesting odds on this week's cards. And just to be clear, first and foremost, we are not telling you to go out and bet on sports, but if that is something that you are going to do anyway, we would prefer you to do that with an educated mindset going in. So, at least as far as DraftKings is concerned, we have got some notable big odds on a card that you would not assume to have too many big odds. The vast majority of these cards, Neil Magny versus Ramiz Bermihaj. Magny is a plus 120 underdog. Bermihaj is a minus 142. Minus 142 favorite. That was fucking weird. My light just flickered behind me. Sorry about that. Not the biggest odds. The vast majority of the odds on the card are very similar to that. I will say, at least on DraftKings side of things, Vicente Luque is a minus 105 underdog against Trayshawn Gore in a minus 115 favorite. There is no way to make money on that fight unless you include it in a parlay and get very fucking lucky. But the vast majority of these fights have pretty coin flippy odds. I will say, one of the larger sets here, two of the larger sets, back to back. Edson Barbosa versus Esteban Ribovic. Chris mentioned that earlier. We've got Edson Barbosa coming in as a plus 470 underdog versus Esteban Ribovic, who is a minus 650 favorite. That's a little disrespectful in my opinion. I understand the odds being in Ribovic's favor, but to be that heavy, I don't agree with that for sure. Excuse me. And then the fight that comes immediately afterwards, Mansour Abdul Malik versus Dustin Stolfus. To the surprise of no one, Dustin Stolfus is the plus 490 underdog. Mansour Abdul Malik as a minus 675 favorite. Like, aside from the coin flips and the coin flips and the coin flips, those are really two of the bigger ones. There's only one that has bigger odds here. The widest odds on the card, at least for DraftKings, coming up for UFC 330. I mentioned it a minute ago. The opening fucking fight. Jeremiah Wells versus Mictabek Oralby. DraftKings, fucking crazy, has Jeremiah Wells coming in as a plus 700 underdog. They have got Mictabek Oralby coming in off of a fucking sidelining as a minus 1100 favorite here. I don't know that the fight odds are realistically quite that wide, but this is one of the fights that I mentioned that I am curious about for a fucking reason. And apparently, the folks at DraftKings seem to agree with me because the biggest odds on this whole goddamn card are in the opening fucking fight here. So, kind of an interesting way to go about that in terms of the UFC's card building. That being said, we will of course give you the co-main and main event here. Excuse me, event odds here as well. Co-main event: Mackenzie Dern versus Jillian Robertson. I was a little surprised to see this. They have got Jillian Robertson as the underdog at plus 180. Mackenzie Dern as the favorite minus 218. So it's not a strong lock. With money moving in, that odd could very well flip between now and Saturday afternoon. We'll have to keep an eye on that for sure. Main event makes a little bit more sense, and it's kind of the way you would expect it to be here. We've got Islam Makhachev versus Ian Machado Gary. Ian Machado Gary here being the underdog at a plus 275. Islam Makhachev, this is a little surprising, as the favorite as a minus 345. The fact that Oralby and Wells was plus 700 to minus 1100, and Islam versus Ian is minus 345 plus 275 seems a little crazy. But there is still little room for fluctuation on all of those here. Again, we are not telling you to gamble. We would definitely never recommend betting on fights to begin with. But if that is something that you are going to do, at least do it with an educated mind going in and don't just throw your fucking money away. That being said, if you do by happen chance win yourself a little pocket full of coin from any of the advice you might have picked up on this show, don't be afraid to throw a coin to your Twitcher. We do have patreon.com/I'mNoJoe for as little as $1 a month. As much as you are comfortable giving, you can help us do what we do around here, and we would greatly appreciate it. That being said, Chris, are you about to settle up over there? All right. Well, that means that we have reached the point in the show you would only know when you are watching by the terrifying GIF that has rolled across the screen. If you are just listening, you will need to know that this is the point where we roll the friendliness back in our show and we turn a little bit of fun into a little bit of competition. This, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is a thing that we like to call the pit. This is where we take the friendly aspect of our show and we make it a little bit more of a game so that everybody gets a little bit of fun out of it here. We have got two competitors here, one making his short notice debut, much like some fighters on the UFC 330 card this weekend here. And then we have got a Grizzly veteran to welcome him here. We have got Flitlock here for his first ever pit challenging, taking on Slow Bake. Flitlock, are you ready over there?
Yep, already.
All right. Well, seeing as how this is your cherry popping and your first pit here, I will let you make the opening decision. Would you like to go first, or would you like to make Chris answer first?
Looks like the brother Chris is still setting up, so I'll go ahead and go first.
All right. We love to see the initiative. So, first things first, the way that we like to kick off the pit here. On every card, regardless of who talks about it and how much they talk about it, there is always going to be one fight that you personally have to make sure everybody that is around you is paying attention to, because this is going to be possibly the best fight on the whole goddamn card. We like to refer to it here on the show as the fight on the card. Of all this mediocrity we've got in UFC 330 this weekend, which one stands out the most to you?
So, to be honest, there's two of them, but and they are both the short notice fights. But ever since we talked about it, ever since it was talked about last week on the show, the Chitty and Joe Alvarez fight has got to be my hey, come watch this fight. Because while Alvarez has all the submissions in the world that he could get you with, if he decides to throw hands, or if Chitty can get him within the first, I don't know, couple minutes of the round, I don't know if it's possible, but Alvarez could go to sleep. It's very, it's everybody's got a puncher's chance. It just ever since they announced it last week, and it's all the short notice fights are always interesting for me because you just like you said, it's short notice for both fighters. Chitty was what was uh training to fight another guy. What was his name? Uh, Neil. He was training to go up against Jeff Neal. Then he withdraws. All of a sudden you got Joe Alvarez, who's just been submitting the world. So, I mean, it could also very well be, can Chitty stop Joe Alvarez? This could be, the next step for Alvarez himself.
Absolutely. Very well could be, and a damn good fight to watch. So that'll bring us back across the octagon, as it were, here over to Mr. Slowbake. So, Slowbake, of all the fights on this card, if there is one that you had to put a pin in to make sure everybody around you is paying attention to when it starts, which one would be your fight to make everyone pay attention to?
Well, we kind of discussed about it a little bit with my shit. There's very few to pick from, but I would fucking say Jalen Turner and Cowie Fernandez. Fernandez, only the two losses in his career. Some fight finish potential, and Jalen Turner fucking's back in the right state of mind. Looked fantastic in his last fight, getting back in. The dude's always been one of the best fucking lightweights. Still young as shit, in all honesty, when it comes to fight years. He's got all the fucking reasons in the world to get back on a fucking tear, so I'm excited to see how Jalen does. I think the fight as a whole could be one of the better ones on there, but few to pick from.
Absolutely agree with that. That is a fun one as well. We mentioned that earlier as well because Jalen Turner essentially retired from the sport for a little while and was taking some time off. Whatever had gotten into him seems to have been worked out, and he is now back and looked pretty goddamn good in his first fight back. So if Jalen Turner is actually back and really committed again, this could be a very big problem for the lightweight division for damn sure. Not necessarily that the fuck is his name? Fernandez is that much of a world breaker or a gatekeeper per se at this point, but another one trying to make his way up through the rankings, and Turner could absolutely halt his fucking progress with this weekend. So for damn sure understandable on that one. Okay, so for round two, that'll bring us back over here to Mr. Slowbake here. For round two, if every fight has a card that you've got to make sure people pay attention to, this one more than most will absolutely have at least one fight that you can use as your bathroom break. Take your dog out to take a shit, make sure you crack a cold one, do a fat dab, maybe three, fuck it, four if you're crazy. The fight that you can basically ignore and wait till you hear by unanimous decision to actually start paying attention again. Which fight is the least exciting fight for you on the card this weekend?
Well, because I think Dante Johnson might get a finish, I'm going to say the Brahimaj and Neil Magny fight. Two dudes shouldn't be in the UFC again, like we've already talked about. Maybe five of those on this fucking card. There's nothing good to come from this fight. Wow, one guy might submit the other. And we might go through fucking 10 to almost 15 minutes of a boring slog to get that rear naked choke. I'm not excited about this one at all. It's definitely one of the fucking ones to write off on this card.
Yeah, see that fucking mute button. See, goddamn Republicans after my mute button. So that being said, that'll bring us back across the octagon, as it were, here over to Mr. Flintlock. So if every card inevitably has one fight that you have to make sure everyone around you is paying attention to, that necessarily means there's going to be one that you can use as your bathroom break. Go check on your old lady, get yourself a cold one, do a dabber 7, whatever the case may be. Which fight are you going to ignore on Saturday?
Well, I mean, to be completely honest, I was gonna say, I mean, either the co-main or main event, but I don't want everybody to have to sit through everything else. I'm gonna have to say Luke and Gore. You've got Old Man River. I mean, he's 36, but I mean, Old Man River out there, and then a vastly abused Campbell's soup can in the middle of the ring. So, is this the blind leading the blind, or the blind leading the impaired? What's going on here? Who in their right mind thought that this was going to be a good fight? It may be a prelim fight, but why stick it on the card to begin with? I mean, I know that's over half of the stuff, but holy shit, like you said earlier, Trayshawn Gore has made a fool of himself every time he steps in that ring. He may have 6 wins, but it's 6 questionable fucking wins. And Vicente Luque, come on, man. I'm older than he is, and I feel like I'm watching, Old Man River in the ring. Like something went wrong a long time ago.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And the problem isn't even that Vicente Luque had a brain injury that they thought was an aneurysm at one point, because he was starting to plateau realistically before that happened. To be fair, the Vicente Luque that was on the Ultimate Fighter on Team Black Zillions was one of the baddest motherfuckers the UFC has had for a hot fucking minute now. Like, that realistically might have been one of the last good seasons of the Ultimate Fighter. Even if it did bring us Kamaru Usman as well. But that being said, like, Vicente Luque has been there and done that. There's no shame in this point. You just saw Darren Elkins hanging it up at 42. He's been doing this for almost 20 fucking years. Vicente Luque isn't in his 40s yet, but he's also been a professional fighter for almost 20 years at this point. And this is another one of those situations where it might not seem like it, but the highway miles will absolutely start to show at some point, and we're looking at fucking tread on all 4 wheels at this point. Like, the highway miles are adding up. The fact that he's even matched up against Trayshawn Gore and they're putting it on a prelim should say something unto itself, but unfortunately, UFC gonna UFC. So that being said, that'll bring us back over here to you, Mr. Flintlock, for round 3. In round 3, we have got a very simple question for you, sir. We have a belt on the line in the co-main event. The women's strawweight championship is up for grabs. I say with air quotes for those just listening, defending champion Mackenzie Dern taking on the challenger in Jillian Robertson. How do you think this co-main event plays out on Saturday?
You know what? I honestly hope it ends quicker than the McGregor fight, but with the submission, with Miss Robertson coming out on top, because Mackenzie Dern. Well, how the fuck does she even have a UFC contract? How? Because she's got what? A little. Never mind. Never mind. No, Robertson's definitely coming away with this. Probably. I I would guess if it's gonna be by submission, it'd be first second round. It's the easiest way. You're the driest then. It's not gonna be that hard. They're not gonna be squirming that much. But I, if it goes to decision somehow, some way, I know that fucking Mackenzie Dern is gonna squeak it out of her fucking fake ass and just, ugh. Oh, I'm champion. Blah, blah. No, no, bitch, shut up. Why? Why are you even here? What? No. Jillian Robinson has been fucking everybody up, and she deserves a chance at this title. And I think she comes out with a submission, first, second round.
Real quick before we throw this over to Chris, I do have to apologize real quick to our Portuguese fighters, our Portuguese fans rather. Flintlock was giving a Mackenzie Dern quote there, and I don't have closed captioning for Portuguese, so I do apologize. You might have to use Google Translate for that little section. That being said, that'll bring us back over here across the octagon, as it were, to Slow Bake. Chris, we have got a fight, technically speaking, in this co-main event, and unfortunately, it's for a belt. But that does mean that at the end of the night, one of those ladies will be champion of the strawweight division going forward. How do you think that fight shakes out?
One way or another. The fake Brazilian gets her ass beat. Is it a anxiety filled moment for Jillian where she's got to struggle through it a bit and scratch and claw to get the decision? Or is she actually going to come out there on fire and beat the living shit out of this girl that never actually shows up to fight? Pretty simple. Jillian Roberts is going to be the champion. Like I said earlier, she might as well already be champion. And Mackenzie Dern's either going to get her ass beat, get choked out, or somehow scratch and claw her way to a close loss. And it's not going to be the most entertaining fight if it goes to decision. I can guarantee you that. So I'm hoping Jillian's on her fucking P's and Q's, whoops that ass, gets it done and over with. We ain't going to get any good fights in the future, though, in strawweight, flyweight, fucking bantamweight. Women's fucking MMA is really hurting at this point, if we're being honest. We've got 5 flyweight women, and that's it. Other than that, nothing's fucking entertaining, nothing's interesting. If Whaley goes back down to strawweight, you just got a dominant chick at strawweight again. That's literally where we're at. And we're all sitting here waiting on fucking the return of Amanda Nunez to whoop Kayla Harrison's ass. And that one's being delayed as well. It's all a bunch of shit.
Emotional damage.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you there as well. Not a lot to be terribly excited for, other than those of us hardcores that have been watching Savage literally claw her fucking way through the division. Most finishes, most bonuses in the female side of things, like most submissions in the female side of things. Like Jillian Robertson has legitimately been clawing her fucking way for a hot minute now, under the guidance of Dean Thomas, nonetheless. Up to her final undeniable shot. I hope she takes advantage of it. I'm rooting for fucking Jillian Robertson as well, for damn sure. Excuse me. That being said, round 4 we go, gentlemen, and that means we have got Slowbait kicking this one off first. Chris, we have got the welterweight strap on the line in the main event. The self-proclaimed next evolution of Conor versus Khabib, the Irishman versus the Dagestani for the 170 strap. How do you think Saturday's main event plays out, sir?
Same way we saw shit play out 10 years ago. Only this one's a lot worse. There's an Irish dumbass that thinks he's good at fighting while he tries to sniff somebody's asshole is going to try to talk like Conor McGregor and put on one of the worst performances we've ever seen in a title fight. Like, our best bet, like I said earlier, is Islam knocks him the fuck out, because Islam can strike. We've seen it. But if Islam tries chasing after him, because we know he's going to ride his fucking bike like a little pansy that he is, it's going to be horrible. It's going to be horrible watching 2 dudes running around, one guy trying to catch the other just to take him down and fucking butt fuck him. That's not something I want to see, man. No, nothing against the other sex or your other preferences, but there's other avenues to see that shit, and I'm sick and tired of seeing it in my fucking cage fights. Just plain and simple. If you're going to work towards a fucking submission, that's great. Flintlock's had his segments about this before. We see way too many motherfuckers not using elbows, not using knees, not using grappling for what it's meant to fucking be used for. Just guys hugging on each other, laying on each other. Shit's turning into boxing and wrestling way too much. And I'm not talking about the good wrestling. I'm talking about WWE. Shit's getting real sad real fucking quick. I don't think this fucking main event's got any excitement written all over it. But Islam's going to become the champion again. And then what the fuck? What do we get? Retire, please, God. give us some fucking excitement to actually be had at welterweight. Please, fucking God. Just do a Habib. Beat Ian's ass, do a Habib, right out into the sunset, because I'm sick and tired of watching these Dagestani motherfuckers bore the fuck out of me. Habib had a great fucking personality, was able to talk some shit. That's the only reason anybody ever really liked him. He had 2 fights that were actually interesting. He dominated the fuck out of Conor McGregor and Justin Gaethje. Other than that, every fight was a fucking snooze fest. Just be honest. That's why he's not my GOAT.
I get it. I get it. Like I said, I might be in the minority here, but I'm not terribly excited about either one of these fucking main or co-main event fights, other than the fact that Jillian's finally getting a chance that she's worked so fucking long to get. So, uh, that being said, we'll bounce that back across the octagon here, as it were, over to Mr. Flintlock. Sir, we have got a welterweight belt on the line in the main event of Philadelphia this weekend. Technically speaking, one of them has to leave with it. So how do you think that main event is going to play out?
I mean, to be honest, my dream scenario is a left hook from one of them and a right hook from the other, and it's a simultaneous knockout. That would be sick. I would love to see that. As much as I don't like Makachev, I don't like Gary that much more. So, I mean, just like my brother Slowbake over there, he's probably going to walk away with it due to a slow ass just lay on top of each other, not really work for anything. If he actually works for submissions and actually tries to put Gary out, that could be interesting. But the wet blanket bullshit has got to stop. I understand you got an MMA contract, and I understand you train with this name and that name, but I'm pretty sure they didn't tell you to lay on top of a motherfucker and not do anything. This was literally the one that I was going to tell people to go to the bathroom to. But hey, who wants to go to the bathroom during the main event? I just like, you know, so back there, I'm tired of watching people. You're in a fist fight. I get it. You can get on the ground and you can contort people's shit and you can dislocate elbows and all this. Do it. Actually do it. There are people that do have very, very interesting jujitsu battles on the ground with people, and they roll and sprawl and all this other shit and counter move, and I'm gonna take your leg while you take my arm, blah blah. Some of that shit's pretty interesting, but 90% of it is just laying on top of each other like a wet blanket or pressing somebody up against a fence. And Gary, I haven't even paid attention. The only thing that I ever liked that came from him was watching his little kid impersonate Holloway and McGregor and Poetan. Other than that, why? Why even make this main event?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely agree. This is the biggest thing that I'm curious about in this main event is if Islam's going to retire after he wins, because there have been a couple people that have said that there's rumors going around the camp. Neither one of them will acknowledge it publicly. Excuse me, but there have been several different folks who have given anonymous quotes from inside camp saying that there is actual talks of him retiring, because if he wins Saturday against Ian Machado Gary, he ties Anderson Silva's record for the most or for the longest win streak in the UFC. So he would retire tying a record as a 2 division champion, which would make sense career wise. And we'll see. There is a possibility. That being said, we are all tied up in 4 rounds here. So it's the damnedest thing, but we are going to have to go to a round 5 sudden decision winner take all situation here. Since we did let Flintlock decide who's going to go first for the initial part, Slowbake, we will let you decide who answers round 5 first. Do you want to take that one, or do you want to make the kid answer the new one on his first go around as well?
I'll go first.
There we go. I like the directive. So It's been a bit controversial this year because it has been hit and miss. It doesn't matter if it's an Apex card or if it's a numbered event, formerly pay-per-view card. There is almost no telling until it actually starts. And I'm curious how Philly's going to go. Will Dana White actually go to the post-fight press conference or not for Philadelphia?
Oh, this is an easy one. No. Philly is shit city, literally crumbling worse than our own city here in Kansas City at this point. Drug addicts roaming around the fucking streets. Nobody wants to be out there. It's a horrible venue and location to pick for a fucking fight night, let alone a pay per view. And look at this card. What the fuck is there to talk about? What the fuck is there for media to ask about after these fights? Literally, the only talking point if Islam retires will be Islam retiring. Like, there is nothing to come out of this card, even if we get 10 or 11 fucking finishes to blow us away like we did a couple weeks ago with Uros Medic's fucking card. No, this is going to be trash. Dana knows it's going to be trash. I wouldn't even think he's going to be at those fights. And then what is there to talk about? I saw some bullshit rumor online today. Nah, I know this is a bullshit rumor, but bullshit rumor that we're getting Justin Gaethje versus fucking Charles Oliveira for the lightweight and BMF belt in November for Madison Square Garden, and then Poatan versus Josh Hokett. And I mean, they're rumors, right? But I believe that we could see that because of how fucking shit this entire year has been. This entire run with Paramount Plus. We have not had one card with a semblance of UFC fights feel to it aside from the White House card. And they gave us half a card for that and made it a giant fucking spectacle that we didn't need. It's turned into WWE. Let's just be honest. Let's quit holding on hope that it's ever going to go back to normal or get better again because it's only going to get worse from here. Dana ain't got shit to answer. He ain't going to show up. I don't want to fucking show up and watch the fight, so why the fuck would he show up to a press conference?
That is absolutely a possibility. I mean, you would think with 2 titles on the card, you would hope he would be there, but you never know. And that'll bring us back across the octagon over to you here, Flintlock. With 2 titles on the line, do you think it is going to be enough to actually get Dana White to a post-fight press conference for the UFC again?
No, normally I would agree with Slowbake, but Beans is there's nothing else going on this weekend that Dana is tied to, and the fact that there's 2 belts on the line, regardless of who it is, there's 2 belts on the line on a numbered card. I think he might show up. I think he might show up and answer some questions at the end. Might not be happy about it, but what else is he gonna do? I mean, I understand he's millions upon millions of dollars. I mean, he might. There might be, some lone casino in Vegas that hasn't banned him yet. But what else? Like I said, what else is he gonna do? Where else has he got to go? Get some other allegation against him?
That was the joke I was about to make. He's a billionaire. I'd go get my dick sucked and fucking take a lot of fat ass dabs out there in Philly. They grow some decent weed.
Yeah, no, I will say, I initially didn't think that Dana was going to be there, but the more I think about it now, aside from either being able to tout Gary as, the next big Irish superstar to try and get some fucking fame behind that champion, or talking about the first female Canadian champion in the UFC. And then, Dana, every time they do a numbered event, he's got the biggest heart on in the world to talk about how they set the gate record for the event and they set the biggest fucking take in record and the most merch in the UFC Yank splurge. So I didn't initially think he was going to do it, but now I think he might do it here. I think he is going to go ahead and show. That being said, we had a very close bout here. See if the screen's going to hold for us. No, it's trying to blank out. Damn it. Just show the fucking scores. Damn you, green screen. There we go. In his debut, Flintlock takes it by the narrowest of margins. Congratulations, sir. See how long the run holds out.
Everybody's got a puncher's chance, I suppose.
There you go. Every fight starts on the feet, god damn it. But thank you very much to everybody who tuned in. If you are new and this is your first episode, thank you very much for tuning in. If you like this kind of shenaniganery, thumbs down at the bottom does more than you think. And if you subscribe, please make sure you hit that little notification bell because YouTube sucks about telling you when we actually go live. And because this is a numbered event slash pay-per-view week, we will indeed be going again live this weekend, Saturday afternoon, 3:30 p.m. Central, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. He's over there. Flintlock and myself will be here to bring you right into UFC 330, giving you all of the latest updates, fight by fight breakdowns, as we lead you right into the prelims. Our show will probably be more exciting than the prelims anyway, but we don't want you to miss a fight. We want you to get in there informed. So we will be here bright and early Saturday afternoon to walk you into those prelims with all the fun on the pregame show. That being said, though, when we wrap things up around here Thursday night, that is not the end of the fun. Even though we try and do these shows pretty much every Thursday, that there are fights to talk about around 9 to 10 ish, depending on life happening. Both youtube.com/ at I'm No Joe, also dual cast to twitch.tv/ I'm No Joe. And when we wrap these shows up, that's not the end of the fun because tomorrow, hopefully, like most Fridays, more often than not, this gentleman over here will be kicking out his podcast, the Slow Bake and Contemplate podcast, once he gets reinvigorated for fights, anyways. But the link to the library of his podcast from before he took his current hiatus and the links to all of his social media are all down in the description, whether you are just watching or listening, all just the same. So make sure you go down there and hit those and tell him how good he is doing and remind him how much you want to see him get back to podcasting.
Appreciate you, brother. Probably not gonna happen any fucking time soon. The way things are looking, way too busy with the grow. Way too busy getting things going with my business. I'm fucking literally on my own, working on my event and shit for next month. We got a lot of things cooking, man. They got to cook up some better fucking fights. I ain't talking about this fucking bullshit tomorrow morning. I gotta wake up at 7 in the morning every fucking day to go spend 4 or 5 hours outside. No, I'm not fucking trying to jump inside and talk about that bullshit after the fact. Just be honest. When people want Slow Bake to do a podcast again, you need to start petitioning the UFC and giving them some real shit. And I don't think it's going to work, so that's probably not going to happen. This might be the retirement, ladies and gentlemen. Aside from doing I'm No Joe show, I give no fucks anymore. Too difficult to try to put in the work on those nuts and give a damn about shitty fights. So, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, definitely not a fucking podcast happening tomorrow. Appreciate you boys no matter what. TJ, he ain't even fucking here for this one, so hopefully shit turns around for the brother. Life gets a little easier for him so he can be here with us next week. But you know, make sure you show him some love. All of his shit should be down in the description. Just like always, even if he's missing us. The meter does many, many fucking things, similar to me at this point. I'm turning into the meter and I'm losing my love for fights. That's the only difference. This motherfucker can give you every aspect of combat sports every fucking week. And if you enjoy the jazz cabbage like the both of us fucking do, like my ass is fucking working on a whole business for it, this motherfucker supports all those businesses, big and fucking local. Loves to do reviews and shit. So you make sure you pop onto his YouTube, pop onto his link tree, and give the brother all sorts of love with everything he's got going on.
Much appreciated, sir. Yeah, like I mentioned, we try and do the show pretty much every Thursday when there are fights to talk about. We go live at least on Thursdays. We do leave the replays up over on both platforms. So if you can't catch us live, you can go back to the YouTube channel or the Twitch channel and catch the replays as long as they are left up. That being said, if you miss us live and you miss the replay on purpose, I understand that. We also own mirrors. And for that reason, the week after we go live, we put the all audio version up over on anchor.fm/I'm No Joe. Grab it there at your podcast consumption platform of choice, Google, Spotify, Apple, whatever you use to listen to shit. It's up there for free in audio, the same way it's up there for free in video. Did mention the Patreon. If you really like what we get up to around here, patreon.com/I'mNoJoe helps us do what we do around here. And in exchange for any level of patronage, you get your name on the end of every broadcast around here to let everybody know how fucking awesome you are, as well as Patreon exclusive content, stuff that never makes it to YouTube here, just for you guys. We appreciate you. That being said, like Chris mentioned, there are 2 link trees down in the description, whether you are watching or listening. The first one, if you find yourself a fan of Satan's Jazz Cabbage, you definitely want to click the Meter Does Many Things link. That's where all of the fun happens over there. If you are just here for the punchy kicky goodness, though, that is just fine as well. Click that I'm No Joe link tree. It will take you to everything that has to do with the I'm No Joe podcast. Takes you back into the library, gives you access to all the goodies and things that you could want here from Punchy Kiki. That being said, that is all we have got for this particular episode. So until next time, boys and girls, remember, don't let ignorance stop you. You can root for anything.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good times.